No music, guys. No music. Right now, I'm going to see if I can go live for at least 30 minutes. Not at a piano. Not at a piano. I am not even in my home city of Chicago. Home city of Chicago, South Side, till I die, where I grew up at. And I'm doing this live inside of a Honda Prelude. Brand new Honda Prelude. I like it. Sporty. Seats are sporty. They got some spacious leg room for those that are um, above the 6 foot range. The seats, this car is about 4,000 pounds, but the seats can lean back. They're not powered. And this is not what this live is about. This is not a review of the Honda Prelude. Yeah, I noticed that it has a sport mode, brake hold for emergency braking. Um, I dig it. I dig it. I kind of wish it was a manual transmission, and I wish Honda would have came by and make this a rear wheel driven vehicle. Bose sound system. But as I'm going through some of the trinkets here, sunglass holder, cool sunroof would have been cool, or T-top Honda. But as I was driving through the urban streets yesterday, and I know you guys are gonna be like, why are you in a car inside of a Honda dealership doing this live? Because the salespeople hopefully can't see me until somebody comes to open up the door. So cuts down on the background noise. I mean, if I had my musical instruments here right now, my Akai Live 2. No, I know they got a kind of like an Akai Mini. I'll probably be cooking up some beats, cooking up some sounds, putting stuff on the track, showing you guys the other side of what I like to do musically. Those of you that's in the room, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell notification. But as I was driving through the urban city, south side of Chicago, namely, I was trying to look for a piano shop somewhere where I could let these fingers breathe. That's what I like to do when I go out of the country. Not out of the well, yeah, out of the country, out of my city, and into other towns. I like to find out what the vibe is for the music there. I like to find out what the vibe is for the music. I like to hit up some piano shops, just to lay some keys down, just to rub some shoulders, just to rub some shoulders. And driving through the urban city of Chicago, even looking online, I could not find one single place where this could be done. Big problem. Big problem, because like the life says, how are we supposed to get music to the next generation? We got the NPR Tiny Desk. I love listening to that. We have Nucci that does the singing on the front porch, Nucci's front porch. But I'm not talking about places where artists go to perform. I'm talking about places where upcoming artists can be born. Where upcoming artists can be born. You don't find that here anymore. It's a sad, sad day. Sadness. I was like, man, they even closed the Guitar Center. Got a salesperson coming. I wonder if he sees me in this vehicle. Sir, please get out. I'm sorry. Sir, please get out the vehicle. They even closed, if I'm not mistaken, they closed the Guitar Center down that used to be at Ford City. I don't know if any of you watching this live is familiar with Ford City, but it's right off of 73rd and Cicero, south side of Chicago. So that has closed down. No more Guitar Centers, no more Sam Ash musics. Is this the end of music education? Now, fast forward or looking forward online, we're finding that there are a lot of music and art centers opening up in the areas. Suburb areas, if you go to Naperville, if you go to Hinsdale, a lot of places where, the socioeconomic status of people's pockets change, you find more music shops. You'll find a Steinway shop where you have to make an appointment to go see if you want to buy a Steinway piano, to sit down and talk with the sales representative. They have a beautiful Steinway that can play itself. I've played it, and it was simply amazing, simply amazing. I met some very cool people. But what I personally would like to see done is I'd like to see these stores in the urban areas. I like to see these stores in the urban areas so we can get music to us. And we have some urban areas just like this too. I like to see music in those areas. And I said to myself, I started looking into, well, Tupac has a saying that says, we have money for war, but can't feed the poor. And that's a very profound, a very true statement, especially as we are seeing a war taking place in Iran right now with our government. We got all this money being poured out right here, gas prices going up and all the way up. And yet, I'm not saying that the urban area is poor, but they don't have the means that, say, a Hinsdale or a Naperville or a Barrington, which is one of the wealthiest suburbs in Illinois. They don't have those. They don't have those means or accommodations. They don't have that money. And I said to myself, I said, well, say if I decided to see what type of grants they have, because they do have grants to what's the word I'm looking for? Enhance the neighborhood. And I said, well, we can take used pianos, get donations of used pianos, get them refurbished, and we can get, open up neighborhoods where children can come in and play off of used equipment. And I said to myself, I said, well, Josh, I said, why does the equipment have to be used? Why does the equipment have to be hand-me-downs? We're tired of hand-me-downs. We should not have to go after hand-me-downs. And I'm going to tell you I'm not statistics, but I'm going to tell you about a fact about a person by the name of Jeff Fort. Jeff Fort evolved into a leader of a gang organization called the Black Keystone Rangers. Black Keystone Rangers. Before this organization became a gang, it was known that this organization was meant for the betterment of our community. Jeff Fort actually got a grant in 1967. The dollar of that grant was for $1 million. $1 million. That was the money that was given to him. That was the money that was given to him. And in today's time, that would be about maybe $9.8 million. Can you imagine what type of, how many Steinways can I buy? Can somebody do the math in the comment section? How many Steinways can I buy? And it doesn't even have to be the most expensive Steinway. I'll even take a refurb Steinway. I'll even take a Steinway that was been taken care of for that amount of money. Just to introduce music back into our community. Because I think that two things that bring people together, I don't care where you're at, two things that bring people together is food, music. Let's throw a third one in there. Say if you started getting involved in someone's language, those three things together. So can you guys imagine what it would look like? And I said, what would actually bring me back to this city of Chicago? And I know people are going to say, well, why not do it in Las Vegas? Why not do it in Las Vegas? Las Vegas is a different type of town. We have a art. I put it like this. It's such a small town. Like Las Vegas is a 30-mile radius. Literally, I can go from north to south, east to west, going one complete circle, and I can go around the whole city. If somebody comes in, guys, I'll tell them that I am reviewing. I'm reviewing the Honda Prelude. Yeah, just hey, you guys are gonna have to roll with me on this one because I'll come out and be like, why didn't they make this rear wheel drive? We want uh 200 horses to the rear, 4,000-pound vehicle. Good God, they should at least shaved about 1,000 pounds. But I digress. But can you guys imagine what? Just give me $1 million in today's money if I take it back to a community like this. And I know, you're gonna have some haters saying that the black people will do. Now, I'm gonna say it how it sounds. I'm gonna say it how it's been said. Well, if you bring that money to the community, you guys are just going to tear the community down. That's not true. I don't believe that's true. I believe that education comes from within. I believe that the reason why so many of so many of our youth are struggling today, and this doesn't go for just black youth. This goes for the American youth, especially in urban areas, is because ain't nothing to do. They've taken all the programs from what I've been told. From what I've been told, they've taken arts out of the schools. They've taken all the shop classes out of the schools. So what is there to do but to cause havoc, wreak havoc? And it can happen. It can happen to the best of teens. I as a child, I as a child started off playing the violin, and when my grandmother, me and her were talking yesterday, and she was like, Joshua, you should see the report cards you had. It was all check marks, F's, D's. I was also smart too, beyond reason. But I was a hellraiser. I like to cause some trouble, push the kids off the orchestra stage, laugh at them, and then go back and I'm sitting there playing stroke for stroke. Pause. What the violin teacher was playing had a very good ear where my teacher called my parents in, excuse me, and said, look at this. This kid's got talent. And can you believe that till this day, as far as I know of, I am the only person that has stayed true to the music. My grandmother was telling me that. She said, well, your mom wanted it to be, Bridget played in the marching band and played the trumpet. Your brother she was having them involved in the piano, but none of them are doing it. But look at you. I've stayed true to my calling. I've stayed true to my calling. And I believe it was music. It was storms. But can you imagine what that would look like if I started going in and setting up shops? And again, my goal isn't even to not necessarily reach the children, but let me reach the parents. If I can get the parents involved, and I heard there are other people out here like me getting the parents involved in the child's learning process. Hey, let me introduce you. Let me get you down and teach you how to play some Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, or teach you what a C major scale is, and teach you what a C minor is, and introduce you to Beethoven versus Chopin, which I believe is the first, who is Polish, by the way, first jazz pianist, the first gospel pianist. You listen to some Chopin. Let me teach the parents. And I always said that if I can reach the parents, I can reach the children. If I can reach the parents, I can reach the children. A lot of scholarships, there are more music scholarships handed out than athletic scholarships. I'm going to leave that right there for a dramatic pause. There are more music scholarships handed out than athletic scholarships. At least if you want to ride to or through school, get a music scholarship. Learn how to play. Enjoy playing. There's a certain amount, certain there comes I believe we're all musical creatures or creations. Creatures alludes to the fact that we're animals, but creation means that we are something that was created higher than music. I believe that is in all of us. And imagine if we express that. Imagine if I had that money just to bring into one community and prove that it was successful in this community. Now we have children getting accepted into school. Now we have a cultural shift. Now I'm actually changing the culture. I was looking at what Kanye West did, but did he actually change the culture? Backpack rapper. He's still doing the soul music, but what does that have? What has that got to do with changing the culture? Chance the music. I see what you're doing, and namely, get this. I'm naming all people from Chi-Town, right where I'm at, Chicago. But how has that shifted the culture? You know, you talk about people like Jennifer Hudson from Chicago, Common from Chicago. We have all of these great artists from Chicago, but how has that actually shifted black culture as far as the people my age teaching it to their children, making sure they get inside the best schools? Because if we don't have the dollars per se, at least we have the intellect. You dig? If we don't have the dollars, at least we have the intellect to get us the dollars, and then we can continue the cycle. We can continue the cycle. So when I look at all of these musical artists, all these music artists, I'm like, well, how have they shifted our culture? You know, all these. Now here's the thing, guys. I'm not even on a scale of being a billionaire, millionaire. I'm just Blair, you know, and that's my last name. Those are bars for bars. Just trying to think of other ways where I can bring money back to the community here, back to the community, and one community at a time. And I don't want to make it a black versus a white thing. I want to make this an American thing where somebody brings their child to me like this and say, yo, how can I get him to play a certain way? Well, take them right here. Take exposure, expose them to this, expose them to that. These are just thoughts I'm having, people. Thoughts that I'm having inside of a Honda Prelude. Very snazzy car, by the way. These are just thoughts that I'm having about how we can make our communities better as a whole. As a whole, and keep this in mind, even though it would start off with music, I'm a man of trade. You know, you can put something in my hand, I can figure it out. Can probably figure it out well because that's the person that I am. But how can we get this to transform from okay, now we got the society starting off in music, and now they're moving from music to doing trade work. Now we have working teens. You know, one of the issues, and keep this in mind, this is going to hit upon, it's going to have a chain reaction because if you guys have heard, Social Security is supposed to run out, supposed to be 2033. Someone in the comment section can fact check me by 2033. And I said the reason why this is happening is we don't have our youth working anymore. The Social Security that I supposed to have been making is supposed to go and pay for the prior generation. That's my dad calling right now. Hold on. Give me a second here. I'm back. I'm back. Sorry about that. But yeah, these are thoughts that I'm just having when I see when I can't find a single music shop or a bookstore because I also look around for bookstores. I'm like, yo, where are the bookstores at? You know, you can find a Barnes and Nobles in the suburbs or a bookstore in the suburbs or a Starbucks, but I mean, it's like, what, we don't want to read too? Where's a bookstore at? Why can't I find good music? This is almost like a pet peeve to me. I'm like, Where's this stuff at? What is happening to our urban areas? And at the same time, the weird thing that will happen with some of these areas, we were driving past the projects yesterday. As I said, well, what happened with this is that the yuppies, whoever they may be, they're going to figure out one day that this is prime real estate. And what they'll start doing is they'll start, I forgot what the term is called, gentrifying the area, which means they'll start raising the taxes of the land. They'll start demolishing the projects, and then they'll start building these $1 million condos, and life goes on. Such a freaking sad thing. Life goes on. See, at 48 years old, I know you guys are gonna be like, why you keep looking in the rear view? I'm looking for somebody to open up the door and be like, what are you doing inside there? But these are just some thoughts that I'm having while I'm sitting inside a Honda dealership. Background's kind of quiet. Background is kind of quiet. I chose a pretty serene spot. But as far as getting music, and it's got to start from somewhere. As far as getting music back into our communities, and I'm not going to say it's a black thing. I'm not going to say it's a white thing. I'm going to say it's a social economic thing. As far as bringing music back down into that area, back down to these areas, back down to these areas, what's it going to take? And I actually told my wife, I said, I'm going to actually look into some grants, because if a well-known gang leader can get $1 million, and I don't think it's even a government problem, because if they gave it to him, what times haven't that give they see our government's got to give away money. They got to give it away. And if for some reason I can come out with a proposal, because some of you guys see me teaching children, teaching them how to play cool things, teaching them this. I said, man, if they've got to give it away, I said, what better hands to put it in with somebody that actually has an idea and can implement the idea. I've successfully, and am still being a business successor and running a business successfully. I know what it takes to make a business work. I know what it takes to make a business run, and I don't even have to be in that business. My business is people. So guys, I'm probably about to go about maybe 7 more minutes on this live. I hope this message gets out. I don't think there are any keys in this vehicle, so I can't turn on any music to have any background noise. Again, guys, don't forget to like the channel, subscribe to the channel, share the channel. Yeah, this I believe, if I can get this idea off the ground, if I can get this idea off the ground, I believe it is powerful enough that it can shift the culture. Yeah. I believe Whitney Houston had a song, and she sung a song. I don't know who wrote the song. I'm gonna look into that. And the lyrics were, I believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them, sing it with me, show them all the beauty they possess inside. I don't know the rest of the lyrics. That was powerful enough right there. So, where are the pianos? Where's the music? And we're not talking about heavy 808 music, something that could breed rap music. And I enjoy all of it, don't get me wrong. I mean, actually, when it goes from listening to music to actually understanding and comprehending, like, hey, you realize that song is made in a minor key, and this is the reason why it makes you feel this way. This is how music moves, blah, 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 blah. I think when children are young and they start learning music, they learn it because the parents want them to learn the music. But I want to make them understand the music, understand what you're listening to. Why does it make you feel this way? Sit down, play me your day. You know, where are the pianos? Where we need to bring this back to the, I'm not gonna say, well, yeah, I'm gonna say the urban area because that's where less people make money and the struggle is real in those areas. Um, it also give parents a place where they can send their children to. I mean, truth be told, I'm trying to get to the parents first. I know I heavily base it on the children. I need to reach the parents. If I can get the parents, like, I got the kids. You know, and all of a sudden, you know, I could see instruments brought into every home. Oh, hey, this is for you. Hey, that's for you. Non-rental. I don't want you to rent it. I don't want you to rent it because this was a grant that was given to me. However, this is a condition. If this is placed inside the home, you know, this is an expectation. This is going to get your son or your daughter into a school. This is going to do blah 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 blah. You know, all of a sudden we got 1,000 Kanye West running around. It won't devalue the music, but all of a sudden we got kids going to school, picking up minors in music and majors in meteorology, which is something that I could have went for. You see what I'm saying? I could have been saying, "Hey, we have a wind coming in from the south, meeting this coming in from going. Not only will I have a love for music, but I also have a love for something else I want to do. You know, which is weather. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I'm gonna figure out how to get these grants. Actually sit down and learn how to write a grant proposal. My wife was like, "Well, you can have Chat GPT write." No, no, no. No discredit to the chat or the Google, but the same person that decided to put together a letter for all their clients when the gas prices rose, that same brain is still at work. And no, I can write my own grant proposal. I don't need the chat. I don't need the chat because I'm better than that. So guys, keep this in mind right there. I want to see a better community, period. You know, I mean, because if the government want people to go to school and stuff like that, or at least get interested, why not? I mean, and now if they're getting scholarships to go to school, now I'm shifting a whole entire generation. Remember, guys, I never said I was, even though I'm a man of trade, I'm all for school. The only reason why I left school was because I did the math, and the major that I was working in wasn't enough to pay for the school once I got stuck with the bill. Not unless I had a doctorate degree, and then I got bills on top of bills. But that is going to be for another topic of conversation. If you listen to this live, thank you. Listen to it. Support the channel. And that's it for now. Peace.